Hey, hello guys, and welcome back to the video by me, PajaZ, and today we are going to talk about what is the best de-atomizer strike variant you can use in Infinite Warfare to drop more nukes or de-atomizer strikes. And as you saw there in my class setups there, I have a lot of good options that I can go for, but in this video, this is a free-for-all live gameplay, and I don't talk too much in this game, that's why I'm commentating over it, but you will see that I have a lot of good classes to choose between right here. And I'm going to go for the Type 2 out of all of these options, and that's also the weapon I'm going to talk about today. And this video is based around core, not hardcore, because if you do play hardcore, accuracy is key, because every gun usually kills really fast, like everywhere from 1 to 2 bullets. So the NV4 is absolutely your best option there, because the weapon has no recoil whatsoever, honestly. But in core, you have a lot more options, in my opinion, for what you could go for. And all of these different variants has their downs and also their ups, like their positives and negatives. And the reason why I think Type 2 is your best all-around weapon is what I'm going to go over today. So enjoy the gameplay in the background, and let me just prove to you guys why, or give you my opinion of why I think this weapon is a monster in core. And first of all, if we want to be able to drop more de-atomizer strikes in this game, we need to know what kind of performance we would like to have out of our gun. And the things we need to think about then is recoil, hip fire, fire rate, and how easy it is to handle the weapon you're using. And the best categories to go for, of course, is assault rifles, LMGs, or SMGs. And all of these has their positives and negatives. So let me give you guys my top 5 nuke variants all around from the different categories and why I think those are the best. And first of all, let's start with the SMGs. The absolute best nuke variant you can go for with the SMGs, in my opinion, is the ERAD. Because compared to the RPR, the FHR, and all the other variants you can go for, which as well are really good, you have a very high fire rate, and the recoil is not that hard to manage, at least if you put on a grip, and it's really good in close range to medium range and even in long range. In long range, it's more difficult to use, but it has such a high fire rate and it kills so fast that even in long range you can be effective. So the SMGs, hands down, go for the ERAD. And when it comes to LMGs, your best option is hands down the new nuke variant, Raw, that we got through the summer supply drops. And this weapon is a lot of YouTubers' favorite as of right now. A lot of people on YouTube says that this is the absolute best nuke variant that you can use. And in some way, I do agree, because it has a very high damage. There's almost no recoil, but the problem is the rate of fire. And of course, if the Raw had a high rate of fire with these stats, it would be the best gun in the game, hands down. But because of the low rate of fire, you will sometimes be able to get outgunned by K-bars or ERADs up close. So the Raw is super good to medium to long range, so if you like to stay in those ranges and not rush around into your enemies' faces, this is probably your best way to go. And now it's time to talk about the top 3 de-atomizer strike variants, at least in my opinion. And that is the NV4, the K-bar, and also the Type 2, as you see in this gameplay. And the K-bar I made a video about not too long ago, and that video is called the best nuclear weapon in Infinite Warfare, and that at the time I thought was the K-bar, and I still think it's really good. And I also have the NV4 on this list because the NV4 is probably the easiest weapon to use. It doesn't have a lot of recoil, almost nothing at all. It changed a little bit. It has been patched since the day it came out in the game, but it still is a laser gun. It barely has any recoil. The fire rate is okay, and also is the damage. So for an average user or a brand new player to the game, the NV4 is probably the easiest weapon to use, but it's not the most lethal one, and it doesn't kill the fastest. And the K-bar and the Type 2 are the ones there in that category for me. Both of them kills really fast. They're good in any situation, in close, medium to long range. I really think both of these can stand up to any other weapon in the game, regardless of what kind of range you are meeting them in. And there is the de-atomizer strike with the Type 2. The reason I think the Type 2 is a little step before the K-bar is because the recoil that you have is very slightly there, and it only goes up, and it's a lot easier to handle than the K-bar. Other than that, I think they're almost identical. The only difference between the K-bar and the Type 2 is that the Type 2 is a lot more easier to handle, and that is a huge plus. So to sum it all up, the 2 best nuke variants in this game, in my opinion, is the K-bar and the Type 2, and I would have chosen the Type 2 because it's easier to handle. But the positive thing about about the K-bar is that it has a little bit better hipfire spread. Other than that, they are almost identical, but the Type 2 is easier to handle, K-bar has better hipfire spread. And for me, the handling is a lot more important, and I can be a lot more consistent in gunfights with the Type 2. And when it comes to the class setup, that is also identical for both of the weapons, even if you use K-bar or the Type 2. What I would like to rock is a quick draw, because you can always aim down sight when you run around, super important for me. Then you have to have grip on both of them, because there is a slight recoil if you don't use the grip, but if you decide not to use grip, I will definitely say that the Type 2 still is better than the K-bar, because the K-bar's recoil is all over the place. After that, I would have rocked stock in an ELO sight, just to be more mobile around the map and also have a better accuracy when it comes to perks. And I would really recommend Dexterity, Scavenger, and Dead Silence. All of these perks will allow you to never have to pick up ammo, you would reload faster, and you will also be able to move around the map without being hurt. But of course, a good weapon and a good class setup is only the ground base for dropping de-atomizer strikes, because you also have to play smart in game. And especially in Team Deathmatch and Free For All, which are my favorite modes, it's all about the playstyle as well. And the best strategies I know is just not to go into the center of the map, because then you can be shot from so many angles. Stay to the outskirts, patrol an area, and if you play TDM, use your teammates as bait. If you play Free For All, I have so many videos on my channel that you can go ahead and watch. I have a series where I get a nuked out with every single nuke variant in the game, and you can see there exactly how I play. I also have a video where I get a de-atomizer strike on Free For All with every single combat rig, and also where I basically show you guys the best strategies to go for nukes in Free For All. If you do want tips there, I can leave some links down in the description or on screen here in the end of the video. But that is basically it. I wanted to talk about the Type 2, bring that up to your guys' attention, because I really think it needs more love. And I can also see that people is starting to use this more recently, but a lot of people will say that the K-bar or probably the Raw are the best options, or even the ERAD, but I hands down think the Type 2 should be up there. Alright guys, thank you so much for watching this video. I do hope you enjoyed, and if you did, leave a like rating. If you always want to know what goes down on the channel, subscribe and hit that notification button if you want to be alerted the second something happens and goes down on the channel. And if you want to have even more updates, follow me on Twitter. The link is down in the description. Thank you for watching. It's all about friendship over here. Be kind to one another, and I'll see you in another video. I'm out.